Hello and welcome to the KOFISI Connect podcast, your source for a wealth of roundtable discussions on the workplace and business, as well as cultural news and trends from the diverse and the dynamic continent of Africa. I'm your host, Patience Musyoka, and today I'm very pleased to introduce Eric Njoroge, who's the Chief Operating Officer at Kenya Charity Sweepstakes Limited, and Violet Atieno, who's the Coordinator, Women and Girls Program at Uweza Foundation. So welcome. Today's conversation is part of the KOFISI Impact Campaign focused on ending period poverty, which is an issue that affects millions of girls and women across Kenya, not just in access, but in dignity, in education, and opportunity. As you introduce yourselves, just talk a little bit about the campaign. Eric, maybe you can go first, and then Violet will also just touch about it on the ground. So introduce yourself and then answer that.
Thank you. It's great to be here. My name is Eric Njoroge. I'm the Chief Operation Officer at Kenya Charity Sweepstakes. Kenya Charity Sweepstakes is a lottery company that's been in existence for over 50 years. And other than the lottery, we do a lot of charity. And we've done, actually, this is the second time we're doing the period poverty campaign. Mm-hmm. The first time we collected over 2,000 pads, and it was quite informative for me.
Okay. Violet?
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name, once again, is Violet Atieno, but I tend to avoid the Violet part. So Atieno is okay. I'm the programs coordinator at Uweza Foundation. I'm managing two programs, that is the Women and the Girls. We are KOFISI's impact partners, and we are here because of the pad donation drive, which has been helpful for us, especially the previous donation that was done, I think, in 2024, December. So it has been impactful for us, for the girls and the women that we serve in Kibera. So, yeah.
Amazing. I'm so glad that you're both here. When we come, let's go directly into the conversation. In terms of equity and dignity, statistically, about 65% of girls and women cannot afford sanitary pads in Kenya. And the question will have to be, why is it important to frame period poverty as an issue of equity and dignity and not just accessibility? And maybe I'll start with you, Violet.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So thank you. Allow me to share a bit of my story. So while growing up, I was born and bred in Kibera. So when I started my periods, my parents, or rather my mom, could not be able to afford buying me sanitary towel, which was like almost 50 shillings. So it was an issue of either we miss a meal or she gets me that. So for me, that is I related to the dignity part of it, because I ended up using like alternatives like rags, because I have heavy flow for me. So for me to have like successful period for that month, I'll need 3 to 4 pads, and my mom could not afford that. So that for me is an issue of dignity. And then when you jump the other side, Kibera is closer to Karen. There's another girl who's same age like me. She's able to afford the sanitary towel. She's able to attend the school. She's not even able to maybe miss the school because of the pain, but not because of access. So for me, that I equate it to the equality part of it. So she's able to afford it, and I'm not able to afford it. So for me, I feel like it's more about like every girl having the opportunity to be able to be themselves or enjoy their period days without feeling shame or some sort. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. Eric?
From where I sit, I'd say I've learned that period poverty is not just about access. Based on our previous engagement with the girls at Kibera, there's shame to it, which is what, as you mentioned, it's about equity and it's about dignity. So I'd say it's about fairness, and every girl deserves a chance to show fully. And the truth is, access without dignity is still inequality.
Oh, accessible. Yeah. That's good. That's very good. When it comes to education or the impact on education, even just hearing your story, Violet, about 3 to 4 days, like over 1 million girls miss school when they're on their periods every month. Mm-hmm. And that's like weeks that are lost in learning every year. how does this affect the ability to just fully participate in school? I don't know from your own story if it was different. What do you think are the underlying things that will probably stand out, and how does it cost them like long term? And the psychological effects to it? You can jump on your story, or even what is probably happening in Kibera with the girls at Uweza.
Yeah. So a normal period goes for like 3 to 4 days. That is in a month. So imagine a girl missing these 2 or 3 days in a month, and then calculate all the days in a year. So these are many days when you bring education part of it. So this girl not being able to their parents not being able to afford maybe to buy them the sanitary towels, they have to jump into the alternative, like using the maybe rags or tissue paper. So once they go with these things in school, of course there's shame part of it. They're scared. Oh, maybe it might fall, or maybe what if it falls down? What if I leak? So there's the mental part of it where if they don't get to use the alternative, they stay at home and miss out the big chunk of school. If they decide to use the alternative ways, they'll have to cope with the shame. So it affects their mental, and also they're not, if they decide to go to school and use the alternatives, they're not be able to like participate socially as usual. They not participate in sports because or else it might fall down. They might not be able to like even have being comfortable with their peers because they feel like the what ifs might just happen. Yeah.
That's very interesting. For example, let me just follow up for the soccer girls in your program. Mm-hmm. So does this happen normally, oftenly? Do you see it, leave alone the fact that we now do the donation drive and it's probably now supported? Mm-hmm. Have there been cases of such? You're not able to play, you just don't even take part in anything at all because you're on your periods?
Maybe in the previous, so for access they have, that is not an issue for now. So maybe the pain part of it. So someone might need to step aside because they have cramps.
Just cramps.
You know how hard it gets, but not access because we are able to provide for them monthly without fail. Whether you have a light flow or a heavy flow, we give you a number of which can take you through the day. So you don't have to use that one for the whole day, thinking that maybe you'll not have another one the next day.
That's amazing. Eric? All right, when it comes to stigma and cultural perceptions, and this is where you come in, Eric, just what Atieno was also saying in perceptions and how they shape the way we talk about menstrual health. For you growing up, is this something that was openly discussed? I know we've had a conversation of and the things you learned from our previous donation drive that you didn't even know of. You just came to know about them like 2 years ago. You want to share some of that?
Actually, when I was reading the questions, I remember there was an ad on TV about Always. And since I was young, I asked my mom, what is that? She answered and told me it was Q-Tex. So at that point, I didn't know the difference. So yeah, I understand there's a stigma around it. And also based on our previous interaction also with the girls, the soccer team, when we went there the first time, asking them what other than the kids, what else they'd want. So one girl said pads. So based on the context, I assumed they meant the shin guards.
Oh.
But she meant the actual pads. So based on that, I had to do a bit of research, and I get it. Like for them, the money they earn from football is not enough because they still need to feed their families. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, they still need to get money for pads. And if you base on that as a home budget, the money is not enough. And if you calculate, now based on what I know, the cost of the pads, if you're going to spend, as you said, maybe a heavy flow of 4 days, and you're going to spend about 300 bob, or I think 300 bob, to 1,000 a week. That's costly for someone who has a low income. So I think sensitizing the community also should be some of the things they need to do.
Do you actually do this on the ground, by the way, Atieno? Like sensitization, awareness, conversation with both the boy child and the girl child as well?
So I'll speak on the girl child side because I work closely with them. So for us, we don't just give pads to them because there is a lot of it, or a lot of things needed behind that. So when we give them pads, of course, we follow it up through with education, with awareness. So we're able to talk through, or rather our space is more of a safe space for the women and the girls to just open up. Because like you said, these discussions were a taboo in homes, and there still are, especially in Kibera. So even like a normal girl cannot even go and tell, hey, Daddy, I've started my menses, can you please buy for me pads? They'll be like, go to your mom. So such discussion our space has been able to offer. The girls can literally just talk about it, about the pain, about the days, about the misconception outside there, about, for example, when I give them the pads, I tell them do not hide it. Because growing up, also what we were told is not pads, it's mkate or chocolate. I mean, why do you have to name it something different?
It was wrapped in a gazette.
So that maybe the boy child cannot know. And in real life, you're supposed to be including them to know that this thing exists. Because if we start giving the pads different names, then the stigma and the shame will not end. So it'd be like, we are talking, and then I'm like, umeniletea mkate. Then it'd be like, what is mkate? So the boy child is like, well, in real sense, if you say pads, then he's leaving that space knowing it's pads. So he's able to also contribute in that conversation. So we are able to talk about it openly. So I tell them, you can carry it literally. I mean, there's no shame about it. It's natural. You've not like wronged someone for you to start bleeding maybe down there. So I try as much as possible to make this conversation so natural, so normal, and they won't feel like a thing. I actually even request them that once you, especially those who have their fast, so every 28th of May, we celebrate Menstrual Hygiene Day. So this day, we usually do like stories. All the girls know my story on my fast period day. So this day, we take it to, for example, the new members who have come, or those who have been with us, but the last Menstrual Hygiene Day, they're not started their periods. So we share that this is my fast. So I always encourage them, yes, I give you a pad at Uweza, but why don't you do a trisex to your dad? Like, I've started my periods that day. Are you able to buy me? And then they come share back the conversation. So I have like 2 to 3 girls who have come back and like, oh, Daddy like had to sit me down and talk to me through. Daddy had to send me to my sister. Daddy had to tell me, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Also, the stigma part of it, allow me to share this, comes in, and also the misconception of the cultural ideologies that we have in the society. We have menstrual cramps. In a normal household, especially those who are not like well conversant with this, they'll be like, you're not the first person to have cramps. Mm-hmm. So like you just go back to school. So the education part of it is not clear. So be like, maybe you're pretending you have cramps, but while we have women who like literally have to go like bedridden for a week because they have the cramps, but some people don't have this knowledge that it can get that severe.
It can get that severe. Okay. So clearly this is just not a health issue. It touches on different topics. There's education, you're talking about economic opportunity, gender equality, and so on. When it comes to collaboration, which we're actually doing as KOFISI, Africa, Charity Sweepstakes, Uweza Foundation, we have more partners, Royal Deer as well. I'll maybe have Eric take this one. Why does addressing poverty require collaboration across the different sectors, from private sector to the government, to individuals, to the community, and stuff like that? Yeah.
I think we need to involve everyone because it's not a one-day solution. Yes, for example, we did the 2,000 pads then, which is about 2 years ago, but we haven't solved the problem. We've just put a band-aid to it. And it's not a one-day thing. That's why we need continuous to support them and also, as I said, talk about it. And the collaborations are important. I know, like I had a conversation with someone, and one of the things they were saying is, why will the government give free condoms and not free pads? And women are also affected, are affected, not also affected, but are affected. And it's not considered as something that the government can do for free. So we need all collaborations, and we need to touch all bases, and it needs to involve multiple agencies and the like.
Okay, I like that. And it's not just a one-off event or a one-off activity, or it's just more than writing a check and giving the donation to any organization, for example, Uweza Foundation. Maybe for you, Violet, when it comes to just the small actions leading up to the big impact, like not the donation drive which you're doing, might look like a small impact, but the long-term impact from your end or from your perspective, what impact do you see from your side in terms of collaboration and partnerships?
So before I answer that, let me just echo what Eric said.
Okay.
So that part of needing each other, it's very important, because for me, I feel like it also sends a message back there in the community that people like you, especially the corporate, the private sector, really care about us, because there's that perception that you guys are more into profit and we are not. So they're like, oh, so people like these also really care about these issues. So the collaboration bit of it really matters, and it helps like us a lot. So for me, please pardon the question.
When it comes to impact, like you're saying, the small collective contributions, just tying that to the bigger picture and maybe your perspective from the community side in terms of collaboration and just partnerships. The impact maybe you see on the ground from this. I know you had touched a little bit earlier, but anything else?
I think I can just refer it back to the last donation. It's proof enough for what really happened. So these are, how many months are those? I think 14 months of not having to struggle, or the women having constant supply of this sanitary towel. No woman was able to worry where are we going, because of course they don't know that bit. They have access every month, but we had no pressure on where to get the pads, because we had one of our office full of cartons. So when they started coming down, I was telling Jen, our CEO, hey, our pads are going down. So what do? We need to start campaigning for this again. But so for me, it, those little contributions really made a huge impact for us, that we were not even able to just serve our girls. They have random women or girls just coming. They hear Uweza is giving pads. So I have one girl who just comes in every month, hi, I need pads. So I don't even have to question. I mean, you're a woman, you need them, so I just give it to them. So the fact that we can be able to serve both the girls and also the outside community is a game changer for us.
Yeah, that was a game changer.
And thank you for the people who are responsible to ensure that you have the pads.
We thank the entire person or entire community that was involved in our donation, and they're still doing our donation, which is going on until the 24th of April. And that brings us to something that is really exciting and happening this month on the 24th of April. Like I said, which is we will be hosting a Pot and Paint with a Purpose event at the Uweza Art Gallery in Kibera, in partnership with all our partners, like we mentioned. And you're welcome. Please email memberevents@kofisi.africa or just any of our platforms on LinkedIn or even our socials, and you'll be able just to sign up and show up. So it's happening from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Maybe, Violet, why is it? What do you think will make this event special for the community? And then Eric can give a take on why it is important for people just to show up. Anyone, corporate, not corporate? Yeah.
I think what will make this event special is, first of all, it's happening at one of our centers, our art gallery. Second of all, you get to meet of course you can't bring all of them there, but you get to meet the real people that these pads are going to them. So it's not that we are getting the pads and just throwing them outside the window. These pads are going to real people. So you members will be able to interact with some of the girls and women that this support really directly goes to them. So it will be special in that manner.
Great. Eric? Especially speak from a man's perspective. So it's not just more women who are showing up, because women always support women. Why we need more men.
I'm a believer in the collective action. And again, based on our previous collection, I'd say one of the things we need to focus on also is sensitization. I can remember most men last time donated money, not pads. And I feel like it was, because it's not something they want to discuss as such, but they know people will need this help, but it's not something that maybe the society allows us to discuss or talk about. And that's why I guess whether it's attending, donating, or just speaking about the issue, it all adds up. So we need to involve everyone, and I think the biggest thing is sensitization for me, I'd say.
Yeah. Sensitization, especially with your gender.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's good feedback, actually. I didn't even notice. We had more money from the men.
Yeah,
and then
more.
we had to know about the pads.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that's actually good. But it's good to hear. We have, like, from your story, you've said we have men now who are actually having conversations with their daughters, like the stigma, and you're normalizing these conversations at home, even actually us having this conversation right now, and stuff like that. So if we address all these layers, like we've said, all of them, what does the future look like as we come to a conclusion where every girl has access, dignity, and opportunity during her menstrual cycle, especially in our country and in our community, Kibera?
First of all, for me, I see a future where no girl or woman should feel ashamed of them attending their menstrual periods. No girl or woman should lack access to the sanitary towel. No girl or woman should lack or feel like they are deemed or like they can't talk or having these conversations. Another future I see is more safe spaces for men and girls to literally just speak about it, and also involving the men in this conversation. And lastly, I see a future where, sorry to say this, but a future where we don't need this pad donation drive, because this particular program or this particular area will be fully funded globally or even in Kenya. So, but apart from that, you still have to do what you have to do. Yeah.
Amazing. Eric?
I'll just echo what she said. We need a world where the woman doesn't have to think twice about the potential of a period, where she can go to school, participate fully, and pursue her ambition without interruption or shame. That's a kind of future where we all work towards.
Amazing. It's just sad to think that menstrual cycle is a shame. But thank you both for such an honest and an important conversation. I believe this is a reminder we all have a role to play, whether it's sensitization for you or creating awareness or conversations. Thank you so much. We'd love to see all of you again on the 24th April at the Uweza Art Gallery. And thank you, Santini.
Thank you for having us. Bye.